So in the last session, we started discussing about the Postgres backups and recovery. So we have seen like how can we take the backup of a database, and we have explored a couple of options like like how to take a backup of a database table scheme, and we have also seen the plain backups and restore mechanism, right? So when you take a backup using pgdump, and when you do not specify any format option, so by default pgdump will take the backup in which format. It is going to take the backup in a plain format, and when you take the backup in a plain format, PSQL is a utility which is used to restore. So what is the advantage with the plain format, right? The advantage with the plain format is, okay, we can open the backup file and read the contents of the backup file. Okay, so now in today's session we are going to discuss about the taking the backups using pgdump in a formatted way. So first let me start the cluster. So /u02 postgres data directory start. So this is my source, and let me try let me start the target as well. One minute. I kept something for testing yesterday. Okay. Now, okay. So let me start the target cluster as well. Okay, so now in today's class, so we are going to discuss about the formatted backups. So before discussing about the formatted backups, we are going to discuss some of the disadvantages with the plain backups. So some of the disadvantages with what? Plain backup. So what are the disadvantages that we have with the plain backup is, let's say I have a EDW database and I have a full EDW database backup, EDW underscore backup dot SQL. I have EDW underscore backup dot SQL. So this is a plain format backup, right? So when you take the backup in a plain format, which utility we are going to use? We are going to use an utility called PSQL. So PSQL is a utility which is used to restore the backups that we have taken in a plain format. So but the disadvantage with the plain format is, I have a full database backup. From this full database backup, I cannot restore a particular object. Okay, so let's say I have a EDW database where EDW database contains EDW underscore app schema and EDW underscore L schema and public schema. If someone, and you have the backup in a plain format, and if someone asks you to restore only particular schema or only particular table, then you cannot restore that. So that is the disadvantage with the plain format. So one more disadvantage with the plain format is, okay, one more disadvantage with the plain format is, let's say as you are going to take the backup in a plain format, so the backup file size would be more. So to avoid such scenarios, pgdump has introduced a new one more option called formatted backups. What is that? Formatted backups. Okay, formatted backups. What are the different types of formatted backups that we have? Is we have three types of formatted backups. One is a tar format, second one is a custom format, and third one is a directory format. So these are the different ways in which you can take the backups in a formatted way. So how can we take the backups in a formatted way, and is there any difference? I mean to say, like, is there any difference in the options? No. So there are no differences. Okay, in plain format you will use -d to take the backup of a database. Likewise, in the formatted backups also you are going to use the same options. The options will not differ, but the only extra option, okay, but the only extra option that we are going to add is -F. So hyphen capital F refers to the format type. So if you mention small t, then it is a tar format. If you mention small c, then it is a custom format. When you mention small d, then it is a directory format. How can we take the backup? Hyphen capital ft refers to tar format. Okay, hyphen capital fc refers to custom format, and hyphen capital fd refers to directory format. Right? These are the different types of formatted backups that we have in Postgres. And okay, so when you take the backup in a direct formatted way, you can restore a specific object. Okay, you can restore a specific object from the full backup. Okay, so now what we are going to do right now, we are going to first we are going to see the custom format. So as I said, there will be no fundamental differences between the play. I mean to say, when I say fundamental differences, right? So the options, so whatever the options that you have used in the plain format, the same options you can also use it in the formatted backups. But the only extra thing that we are going to add is a format type. So now my requirement, I'm going to take the backup in a custom format. My requirement is, I have a EDW database. Now I wanted to take the backup of a EDW database in a custom format, and I wanted to restore it into the EDW underscore stage database. So where is my source? My source is located in 192.168.29.125. So my target is in 192.168.29.132. So my source is in 125 and my target is in 132. Now, so let me try to take the backup in a custom format. So the option that I'm going to use is, I am going to sit on the target side and I'm going to take the backups. Okay, I'm going to sit on the target side and I'm going to take the backup. Okay, now, so how can we take the backup? pg underscore dump hyphen capital U, the username, hyphen h is the host name of the or IP address of the server on which your source database is running. So where my source database is running? My source database is running on 192.168.29.125 hyphen p 5432 and hyphen d, the database where which you want to take the backup, hyphen d edw, and hyphen capital F refers to taking the backup in a formatted way, and hyphen c refers to custom format, hyphen v is for verbose, and hyphen small f refers to the backup location, which is like /u02 pg backups. Okay, u02 pg backups and edw underscore backup dot bkp. So this is how we will take the backup. So the backup is done. Now I have the backup file. So what is my requirement? I wanted to take the backup of EDW database and I wanted to restore it into the EDW underscore stage environment. So do we have EDW underscore stage database? No. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create an empty database. Create database EDW underscore stage. Now I have created a empty database. Now let's check. So EDW underscore stage empty database is already there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to restore. And one more point that you need to remember is, whenever you take the backups in a formatted way, okay, when you take the backups in a formatted way, whether it can be a custom format or tar format or in directory format, pg underscore restore, okay, pg underscore restore is a utility which is used to restore the backup. Okay, pg underscore restore is a utility which is used to restore the backups that we have taken in a formatted way. So we have taken a backup in a formatted way. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to restore. So pg underscore restore hyphen u, what is the username? Postgres, hyphen h is the local host which is like 127.0.0.1, hyphen p 5432, And in which database you wanted to restore? I wanted to restore it into the edw underscore stage data. I wanted to restore it into the edw underscore stage database, and hyphen v is for verbose, and hyphen f, no, hyphen f is not required, just directly you can pass the u02 slash pg backup slash edw underscore backup dot bkp. We'll see what is happening. One minute. I think it's something. Yeah, edw underscore stage. Okay, and hyphen v is for verbose, and slash u02 pg backups edw underscore backup dot bkp. See, now what happened? Connecting to the database for the restore. Now the edw underscore app schema has been created, edw underscore l schema has been created, and the tables has been created, and the data has been dumped. So meanwhile, some of the errors we would see, the errors are about the roles does not exist. So whenever it is trying to change the ownership of a table, or 1 minute. So whenever you are trying to change the ownership of a table, or whenever you are trying to grant the privileges, if the roles are not available on the target side, then you will get an error stating role does not exist, and you can ignore those options as well. So now let me go and check whether the files got created or not. Why it is slow? So now let me log into the Postgres database /c edw underscore stage. Right now /dn, see, select star from edw underscore app. Let me check what are the tables that we have. dt edw underscore app dot star. So select star from edw underscore app dot clean. Okay, now I have the data restored. So now my next requirement is, so what I'm trying to do right now, my next requirement is I have a edw database full backup. I have, what is the backup file name? edw underscore backup dot bkp. Now what I'm trying to do right on the target side, what is the database name I have? On the target side I have a database name called edw underscore stage. From this database I'm going to drop the schema edw underscore app. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drop the schema edw underscore app, and whatever the schema that I have dropped, that only that schema I am going to restore from the full backup what I have. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do a partial restore. My aim here is to let you know that when you have a backup in a formatted way, you can restore a particular object. So now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to like drop the edw and I'm trying to drop the edw underscore app schema. Drop schema edw underscore app cascade. Cascade means if the schema is not empty, then we need to use an option called cascade. Now let's see /dn. We have a edw underscore l schema and we have a public schema. So now my requirement, now I have what? I have a full backup of edw database. From this full backup, I wanted to restore only edw underscore app schema. How can we do? As it is a formatted backup, I need to use a pg underscore restore. So -u Postgres -h127.0.0.1 -p5432 -d edw underscore stage and -n edw underscore app. So edw underscore app is the only schema that I am going to restore from the full backup, and -v is for verbose, and the backup file name is u02 pg backup /edw underscore backup dot bkp. Okay, if you do this, what is the error that you got? Observe it carefully. So we were trying to restore the edw underscore app schema, but what it is trying to do, it is directly trying to create a table on the edw underscore app schema. So to avoid such scenarios, what you need to do, right? Just log into the edw underscore app stage database and create an empty schema. Create schema edw underscore app. Just create an empty schema, then now try to restore. See, it is trying to create the tables on the edw underscore app, and it processes the data as well. Now let me log in and check whether the tables got created or not. So select star from edw underscore app dot clean. So the schema has been successfully restored. So now what I'm trying to do, right? Now I'm trying to drop only table. Drop table edw underscore app dot clean. So I have dropped one table. So edw underscore app dot star slash dt edw underscore app dot star gives you the list of tables that are available in the edw underscore app schema. So I have dropped the clean table. So do you see the clean table here? No. Now my requirement is I have a full backup which is like edw underscore backup.bkp. From this full backup, I wanted to restore only one table called edw underscore app.clean. This is the only table that I am going to restore now. So how can we do that? How can we do that, right? Pg underscore restore. Why I am using pg underscore restore? Because I have taken a backup in a formatted way. So when you take the backup in a formatted way, so you need to use which option? Pg underscore restore is an option which we need to use it to restore a particular objects when you take the backup in a formatted way. So hyphen capital U Postgres hyphen h 127.0.0.1. Okay, 127.0.0.1 hyphen p 5432, and which database I wanted to restore? Hyphen d edw underscore stage, and hyphen v is for verbose, and hyphen n edw. Observe edw underscore app. This is a schema, and hyphen t clean. Okay, and the backup file name u02 pg backups edw underscore backup.bkp. See what it is trying to do? It has created a table and it has processed the data as well. So now let me log into the database and check. So select star from edw underscore app.clean. You see? Yes. Now what I'm trying to do, right? Now let me connect to the database again. I'm truncating the data. Truncate table edw underscore app dot clean. I have truncated the table. Now if you do like select star from edw underscore app dot clean, do you see any data? 0 rows. Now what I'm trying to do again, I have a full database backup. From the full database backup, I wanted to restore only data. I wanted to restore only data for which table? edw underscore app dot clean table. For edw underscore app dot clean table, I wanted to restore only data. So from this, what we are trying to understand? So if you have a full backup, you can restore a data only as well. Okay, only data as well. So now how can we do this? Pg underscore restore hyphen capital U Postgres hyphen h 127.0.0.1 hyphen p 5432 hyphen d edw underscore stage hyphen n edw underscore app. This is a schema name, and hyphen t clean. And what is the option? So if you remember, while taking the backups used in a plain format, what is the option that we have used to take the backup of only data? Hyphen a. So likewise, while restoring also, you have to mention hyphen a, then it will dump, then it will insert only data, hyphen v is for verbose, and backup file name pg backup cdw underscore backup dot sql. So now see what it has done. It has processing data for a table. Do you see any statements for creating a table? No, because as we have passed hyphen a to the pg underscore restore command, so while restoring, what it has done, it has tried to dump the only data for the clean table. So now let me log into the database and check. Select star from edw underscore app dot clean. See, the data has been restored. So now what I'm trying to do, right? And one more point that I need to, that you have to understand is, whenever you take the backups using pg dump in a in a formatted backups, so by default statements for cleaning up of objects and statements for create database. So how you will take hyphen capital C and hyphen small c, right? So statements for cleaning up of object and statements for the create database will be dumped automatically. It is our choice whether we need to use it or not while restoring. So when you take the backups in a formatted way, so what is the utility that we are going to use? We are going to use a utility called pg underscore restore. So while using pg restore, when you use hyphen small c, first it will try to clean the statements on the target, then it will try to restore. So when you use hyphen capital C, then it will try to create the database first, then it will try to restore. So now what we are trying to do, pg underscore restore with clean option. Okay, so I have a edw underscore stage database on the target, right? I have a edw underscore stage database on the target. From this, I am going to drop edw underscore app schema, edw underscore l schema, and I wanted to restore it from the target. So do I need to drop these manually? No, because as I have taken the backups in a formatted way, when you pass hyphen small c, okay, when you pass hyphen small c, then the objects will be dropped automatically and those can be restored from the backup file. So now what I'm trying to do, instead of dropping those schemas or databases manually while restoring, I'm going to do that. So pg underscore restore hyphen capital U Postgres, okay, hyphen capital U Postgres and hyphen h 127.0.0.1 hyphen p 5432 hyphen d edw underscore stage and hyphen small c, which means what? It will clean up the objects and backup file name u0 to pg backups, and let me pass hyphen small v for verbose. Okay, so what it is trying to do, it is trying to drop the tables t1 t2 test clean, then it is dropped the schema cdw underscore l edw underscore app, and it will try to recreate the schemas, and then it has dumped the data for those tables. So what it has done, it has dropped the tables it has dropped everything automatically, and it has recreated from the backups. If you don't want to use hyphen small c, then what you have to do, you have to drop the schemas manually, then you need to initiate the restore. Then you need to do what? You need to initiate the restore. So this is about the like custom backup format in Postgres. Okay, so when you take the backups in a formatted way, you cannot read the contents of like you cannot restore the contents of a backup file name. Okay, you cannot restore the I'm sorry. So when you take the backups in a custom format, what happens? You cannot, okay, you cannot do what? You cannot open the backup file and read the contents. Okay, so when you take the backups in a plain format, you have a feasibility of opening the backup file and read the contents of the backup file. So this is about the custom format. Any doubts so far? Any doubts?
Yes.
No doubts. Okay. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss is tar format. So, what is the observation that you have done? So, whatever the options that we are using on the plain format, the same options we will use, but the only thing is in the plain format, you cannot restore a particular object. Okay, you cannot restore what? A particular object from a full database backup, whereas in a formatted backup, you can restore a particular object. So, now the next format that we are going to discuss is a tar format. What is the tar format? How can we do that? Hyphens, capital F and small t. So now let me, I will be focusing more on examples because the taking the backup and restore is same as plain format. So I'll be trying to cover the more scenarios which we will use in the day-to-day activities. Okay, now let me remove the backup file and let me come to the Postgres database and let me drop all the databases here. Drop database edw underscore dev, drop database edw underscore qa, drop database edw underscore stage. Okay, now let me okay, now let me create a new database. Create database SAP. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is from the source I'm going to take a backup of a edw database. How can I take the backup of edw database in a tar format? Pg underscore dump hyphen capital U postgres hyphen h127.0.0.1 hyphen p5432 hyphen d edw and hyphen v is for verbose. Is this correct? Hyphen h127.0.0.1? No. So we are trying to take the backup of a source. What is the IP address of the source? 192.168.129.125. So pg dump hyphen u hyphen h hyphen p hyphen d and hyphen v is for verbose and hyphen f the backup location u02 pg backup and edw dot tar. This is the backup file. 1 minute. Let me remove this. Why? So as you did not mention anything while taking the backup, as I did not mention any format type while taking the backup, by default it will take in which format? Plain format. So hyphen capital F is the format type and T is the tar format. If you see, the tar backup has been taken. The tar backup has been taken. So now what I'm trying to do, I have a full database backup now. Okay, I have a full database backup in tar format. So from this, I wanted to restore only structures into the SAP database. SAP is an empty database now. So now let me log in and check. PSQL /c SAP. Sorry. Do you have anything? No. Now what I'm trying to do, first of all, I am trying to restore the backup into a SAP database and only structures I am going to restore. Only structures I am going to restore. Okay, now how can you restore only structures? As you have taken the backup in a formatted way, so we are going to use pg underscore restore utility and hyphen capital U postgres hyphen h127.0.0.1 hyphen p5432 and hyphen d. In which database you wanted to restore? I wanted to restore into a SAP database and I wanted to restore only structures and hyphen v is for verbose, hyphen s is to only restore the structures and hyphen v is for verbose and slash u02 pg backups dot edw underscore tar. So if you see, do you see any statements for dumping up of data? No, sorry. Do you see any statements for restoring data? You don't see any statements for restoring of data because you wanted the pg restore to restore only structures by passing hyphen smallest option. If you remember, so while taking the backups in a plain format, So we used hyphen small s to take the backups in a backup of only DDLs. Likewise, when you take the backups in a custom format or tar format or directory format, while restoring, if you pass hyphen small s, then it will restore only structures. Now let me log in. So PSQL hyphen u Postgres hyphen d sap. Now select star from edw underscore app dot clean. Do you see any errors? No. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to restore only data. If you want to restore only data, what is the option that you need to use? You need to use an option called hyphen a. So if you want to restore only data, then you need to use an option called hyphen a. Now what you will do? So now see, now it is dumping the data, only data. Do you see any statements for creating table or creating schema? No. Okay, now let me connect. So select star from clean, sorry, select star from edw underscore app dot clean. See, this has been restored. So now what I'm trying to do, right now, I'm trying to, let me log into the edw database. So select, and the source side I'm doing this, select star from edw underscore app dot clean. Okay, now insert into edw underscore app dot clean values. This is for testing table restore. So now select star from edw underscore app dot clean. See, so I have two rows now. Okay, now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to take the full database backup of a edw database again in a tar format, and I wanted to restore only this clean table. And while restoring also, I don't want to drop the table manually. What I'll do, I'll pass a hyphen small c option so that the table will be dropped automatically and recreated. Okay, so this needs to be, like, so now what I'm trying to do now, so before doing that, let me log in. So select star from edw underscore app dot clean. We have only one row here. Now what I'm trying to do, let me take the backup of full database backup of a edw database. So pg dump hyphen u hyphen h 192.168.29.125 hyphen p is 5432 hyphen d is edw, and hyphen capital F is a format type, and T is a tar format, hyphen V is for verbose, and I wanted to take the backup edw underscore new dot tar. I have taken the backup now. Now what I'll do, while restoring, I don't want to drop the table. I wanted to restore only clean table from which is there in the edw underscore app schema, but I don't want to drop the table manually. I will let the pg restore to drop it and recreate it by passing an option called hyphen small c. How can you do? So pg underscore restore hyphen capital U Postgres hyphen h 127.0.0.1. So do you know why we are passing 127.0.0.1? Because we are sitting on the same server on which your target database is running. So hyphen p 5432 hyphen d SAP database, and I am using hyphen small c to clean up the table. Hyphen n is edw, sorry, hyphen n edw, and hyphen t hyphen n edw underscore app hyphen t clean table. So if I do this now, what it will do, it will try to dump the table, duplicate the number of rows. So first of all, I wanted to pass hyphen small c option so that it will clean the table and it will try to restore, and hyphen v is for verbose slash u02 pg base backup edw underscore new dot tar. So if you see what it is trying to do, it is dropping the table clean and it is creating the table and it is processing the data. Now let me log into the database. Select star from edw underscore app dot clean. See the new rows, whatever we have inserted on the source, those has been restored automatically. So whether you can if you want to use, you can use hyphen small c. Otherwise, if you don't want to use hyphen small c, then what you need to do, you need to drop the table manually and then you need to restore it. So this is about the tar format. See, the formats are of the options are of one and the same, so but the only we are exploring the different scenarios. In the next class we are going to discuss about the directory format, and once that is done we are going to discuss about the pg dump all, and then we will conclude the logical backups of a Postgres database. Any doubts so far?
Yeah, Hari, 1 minute.
Yeah.
When we are taking database from other server, right, in target server,
Yeah.
so it's not asking password, right? So
So
it is
why,
private.
yeah, why it is not asking the password? Why it is not asking the password, right? So in the pg underscore hba.conf file, if you remember when we were discussing about the host based authentication, so we have discussed that there is a file called pg underscore hp.conf. In that file there are a couple of values. One is a type talks about the type of the database connection, whether it is a remote or local. Database talks about which database it has to accept the connection, and user talks about which are all the users that are allowed to connect, and address talks about the ip address, and password method talks about the password. If it is a password, then it will ask you for the password. If it is a trust, then it will not ask you for the password. And if it is like something like md5, then it will accept md5 kind of passwords. So these are the couple of options that we have discussed right during the host based authentication. So the password type must be trust on the source side. That is the reason why it is not asking you for the password while trying to connect to the Postgres database.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. If no doubts, then we can wind up the session for today and we'll connect tomorrow again. I want you guys to practice because this is a session where you need to concentrate more. That is the reason why I'm not skipping anything. I'm trying to cover each and every scenario which we are going to do in real time and in detail. So I'll take more, I mean, like, I'm taking more and more sessions, but I'm not skipping anything. I want you guys to practice. So this is where you need to put your concentration more. From the You need to have good understanding of the logical backups and physical backups, which we are going to start from Wednesday, and the streaming replication and whatever the topics that we are going to discuss from today to till the last class. Those are very 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 important if you are trying to keep an experience of 3 plus or 4 plus. Okay. Yeah, I want you guys. The only thing that you need to do, you need to practice. Once you started practicing, you will get more doubts. And if you have any doubt, just you can call me or ping me so that I can get it clarified. Okay. Yeah, we'll connect tomorrow again. Thank you.